Before time immortal, the dark and stormy nights arose from creation's primordial nectar. Brought to this world as both muse and master to deliver mortals from misery and the mundane. Welcome, lords and ladies. It's the dark and stormy nights.
All right, boys and girls, it's the Dark and Stormy Nights. We are back once again to tickle your eardrums. And this is Loki.
With consent. Odin.
And maybe a safe word.
This is Tyr.
So
Depends on what you're doing the tickling with.
comment your safe words below this episode, and we'll try to consider them. But okay, so I guess we're going to splice in the reading of the end of my, what chapter was that I wrote?
Oh, lordy, that was chapter 9?
9, okay. So at the end of it, Jennifer is going out, putting out flyers, because they are all out of henchmen, because Odin killed them all.
Mm-hmm. Or made them run away.
Or made them run away and shit themselves.
A wereboar and an alchemist.
Werebear, but...
damn it. Yeah, I keep doing that. I don't know why.
And a potion.
Werewolf, wereboar.
And a potion salesperson, but...
A what?
A potion sales lady.
It's basically an alchemist.
So, okay. So, yeah, he killed them all, so I had to restock. Well, I had to at least lay the groundwork.
At least get a new Bob.
Yeah, we had to lay the groundwork for the restocking, so you understand that next time they get together, there's new...
Yeah, why there's magically people again?
Fresh faces.
Right.
So...
Not that we really see faces.
So, yeah, so we get, of course, Jennifer has to get out there and do the dirty work because Desmond has not done well at this, and I'm sure he's tired of dealing with the problem.
Well, what's Caleb supposed to be doing during all this?
Caleb is really good at pretending to be an idiot, and I don't think they trust him with it.
I think that Caleb is also really good at pretending to be busy.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, he's an assistant manager at Best Buy. Was that fair?
I guess Jennifer being the right hand, having to suck up, means that she's going to have to do these things.
Right. So.
And she's kind of
maybe
on the
Jennifer
list,
is tired of them hiring idiots.
That's what I'm saying. She has to
she's
say now.
trying to make a blessing out of a curse. Like, okay, you gave me this job, I'll do it right.
Well, and this
and
is
also,
a good time, right?
This is a point where she's... I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, this is a good time for her to be like, you know what? I get what I want this time.
Mm-hmm. Well, also, I think that she's starting to suspect strange things going on, so maybe she doesn't really trust Caleb to handle hiring more people.
That's true. We just did we point that out? Did we point out what happened?
We absolutely did, where Caleb had stolen those things, and suddenly Jennifer is looking at him like, what the hell are you doing? What are you up to?
Yeah, just at the beginning of this chapter. Yeah, chapter
all right, fair
right,
enough.
Correct. Yeah.
So she's like,
I
wait
think
a
at this
minute.
point, Jennifer is like, I'm going to need some of these minions to be loyal to me.
Right, that's...
Yeah.
As soon as you said that, I was like, okay.
Right.
That's good motivation, actually.
Yeah.
So, okay.
So, and I mean, she's definitely got a good head on her shoulders, so I think that would be something that's pretty obvious to her at this point.
Yeah, so, yeah, she's aware that Desmond's got something going on, Caleb's got something going on. She's the only one who's thinking, I've got something going on, but they don't know that. You know?
Well, right. I think that at this point, between the house issue where she was much more strongly powered than either Desmond or Caleb realized.
True.
So now she's kind of there is a little bit of division going on within our villain team, I think.
Right.
They're kind of looking at her like, what are you up to? And now she's, so I mean, there is kind of something going. Maybe all three of them are hiring new minions. You never really know.
That's what I was wondering. If she comes back with 10 or whatever minions,
yeah,
Caleb's gonna have to
like
come back
there's
with
some
3.
dissent in the ranks. I think at this point.
Suddenly, it's a cathedral full of
because he's like,
oh no, terrible. It's not terrible.
Shit ton of minions.
Yeah,
I don't.
Amounts.
I don't think Caleb's looking for minions at this point. But if she actually comes back with a whole bunch of minions, he's going to go out looking.
He would at least look for a couple of loyal men.
Right.
Yeah. I gotta wonder, like, if this isn't like the biggest numbers they've ever.
Oh,
had.
and that's a good question. If Caleb comes back with 3 loyal ones and she comes back with 10 decent, but maybe not so loyal, considering how Blackwell's looking at her, Caleb can have, it would look like a coup if she comes back with too many people.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Like
that
I think
Jennifer
she has to
wouldn't-
be selective.
I don't think she'd bring them all home. I think she'd have some of them waiting in the wings.
Or maybe they just show up and they're just cloaked figures in the circles.
I'm
they
just
don't
saying
necessarily
this is a
know
great
they're with her.
opportunity for Caleb to go overlooked.
Is
You
this
know?
the potluck?
I think that Caleb goes overlooked for pretty much everything.
Right, but I think he needs to start doing
Well,
some
you know
moves.
what's great? Well, that's the thing. So Jennifer suspects him but didn't say anything. So Caleb could get away with a bit, and is she going to call him out at this point?
She hasn't said anything to Desmond. That's not in her best interest.
Right. But that's what I'm saying is Caleb might be, concerned a little bit.
I think that
But in
Caleb
the end-
knows. I mean, between the fact that she called him out when he was talking, we said we were going to add in him talking next to the house, what kind of items or whatever, into that chapter.
Right.
So, and then she was going to be like, who are you talking to? So, I mean, he got caught there. And then all of a sudden she's looking up a spell and she's like, oh, well, we just need, all these items that Caleb happens to have. Those
Right.
are two very suspicious things for her. And while there's a reason that Caleb has them, she's also seen them both. And that's enough for her. Desmond maybe doesn't know, but it's enough for Jennifer to be seriously suspicious.
I almost feel like, she brings up the spell, then he spills all the stuff on the table. And maybe he starts looking at the two of them like they're two in sync, and maybe types up a, no workplace fraternizing pamphlet or something.
Desmond?
Yeah.
Oh my God, no!
Maybe.
He's too absent-minded of a
Right.
manager to be doing HR-related things.
So.
And he would never give Jennifer enough credit to have,
I do think that he's looking at her with a raised eyebrow lately.
Yeah, I think he's definitely questioning how she was the only one who couldn't get into the.
Well,
That's
I
my
wonder,
point
right?
about
Would
Caleb
it
can get
not
away with some
pay
right now.
off for her to out him? Because if she outed Caleb, the heat's off her. So
It is, but I think she also wants to know what's behind Caleb.
Yeah.
It's mutually
Going-
self-assured destruction.
Yeah. Maybe.
Well, here's the thing: is that okay, from what she's seen, Caleb is working for somebody.
Right.
He was talking to somebody. She clearly knows this. She needs to know who's in the shadows directing him,
Right.
because that could be a direct conflict to her own interests.
Oh, most definitely.
Right? So I don't think her outing Caleb at this point is in her best interest, because Caleb does generally fly below the radar, and I think that Jennifer doesn't give him credit for masterminding these things, but does need to know if the person who's behind him pulling the strings
Right.
is somebody she needs to worry about.
I feel like the mystery episode, right? The one where there might be a chapter in him or her just trying to figure it all out, like her tailing him, her.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, I think
listening
that
in.
might be Endgame, right?
We
She
talked about
unravels
this.
everything, and then she's the one who puts Desmond in a position to take the fall.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's Endgame for
Oh, when
her.
he finally gets arrested, yeah.
Right.
Because I've said before in a previous episode, I believe it was on air, that I felt that she might well follow to the source of the books and get more interesting items.
That was an episode of Scooby-Doo. That wasn't you.
The source of the books is just somebody who's releasing havoc, though.
Right. But that guy might have other items, or at least know where those books went.
He's a ghost Nazi.
So I think she'd be smart to follow back.
I mean, maybe. But
Yeah.
this stuff's being unleashed everywhere, so there's probably a lot of trails going in all directions.
Well,
I mean, this is
I
like
think
epilogue
that
stuff,
he
though.
shotgunned,
Right.
the stuff out
And
there.
he would obviously be careful of making sure it can't be traced back to him, because those items are probably recognizable.
Yeah, but Caleb's traced back to him.
Caleb can be traced back to him, and I think that's how Jennifer's going to end up ultimately finding out what happened.
But will it be
If
too
she
late?
does. I mean, maybe she just ends up knowing that Caleb is involved with something bigger.
I mean, if she hires multiple people,
Maybe that's why she ends up knowing she needs to cut her losses and get out.
she can bring some to the group and have some never introduced to the group who just tailing people all day.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's time for Jennifer to start building a network to fall back on.
Is Jennifer going to be our main villain in book 2?
Oh, I don't necessarily think so.
I mean, maybe.
But could be, yeah. I mean, I think she's definitely got the wherewithal to be the main villain now.
Or you could have
She's just
multiple.
playing a long game.
She could be a mid-boss in the next one. As long as they don't go full on Spider-Man 3, where there's like 5 villains.
I don't know that Jennifer would be able to amass a cult on her own in those days. How many minions are going to follow just a woman?
Well, how much money does she have?
Well, if there are female minions, they're much more likely, I think.
Maybe so.
So, or if they're, a bunch of, guys fawning over her.
Well, I mean, there has to be a
I
bit of
don't
a
think
feminist
so.
movement. It's 1910. There's
Love potion?
Maybe.
Why am I drawing a blank? The right to vote?
Suffrage.
Yes. Which sounds the opposite of what it is.
And women's suffrage.
Yeah, it
That
almost
was
sounds
in
like you want
the
more
20s.
suffering.
I mean, that was
It's
a ways
weird
away
term.
yet.
Huh?
That was a ways away yet. At least a decade.
Yeah, she's right.
Okay, but you had to have the tensions fomenting for that.
Sure, but
So-
I mean, there was a lot of hate towards women going on during those days,
There still is.
especially for their wanting
And
to
that's
vote.
my point. That's my point. It can become like a feminist cult kind of thing. You know, the way that certain neo-pagan faiths, you know, the 70s onward.
That is true. Actually, all the Wiccan
Right.
stuff was rising around that time. And
That I can see. She could amass a coven.
That's what I'm saying.
But
yeah.
it wasn't just them either. There's a bunch of female-led spiritual movements at that
I
time.
mean, we're talking more 30s and 40s when, what was it, Gardner or Sanders? I don't remember which one started it. But, yeah, it was right around that. But still, I mean, still we're a little earlier.
it was
and
building,
we're, and
though.
we're in
It-
Europe,
It was
so
welling in those times, though.
it's an
I
older
mean,
world that got more going on.
There was a lot of female-led pagan practices going on in those times leading up to this massive spiritual explosion.
That's what I'm saying. There's probably a culture or an attitude being built up, you know, a need for release.
Yeah.
That
If she marketed it right,
if
she'd
it,
probably
political,
have a huge
religious,
cult.
or otherwise.
So,
What are you going to do with a huge cult?
cult.
I know, it got caught in my throat. What are you going to do with a huge cult?
Well, how huge does it have to be?
I don't know why. I'm thinking she could probably get a
15 people?
coven-sized cult of people that she would trust. However, I'm just kind of wondering what you plan on doing with all this.
Well, it depends. So, you
Like-
either build a network, a criminal underground of some sort.
That our team is going to somehow be able to take on?
Well, I think that it's just a
Well, that's book 2, maybe, stuff.
I'm not saying it needs to happen in this book.
gotta
I'm
Sherlock
just saying
Holmes that
you're
shit. You
building
gotta
up this huge network and having Jennifer basically take over the world here. And
I
then...
don't
I
think you
don't-
take over the world with 15
I'm
people.
actually not really
but-
sure
Well,
what
no,
her end
you didn't
goal
say
is.
15 people. You're
That's what
saying
he
she's
said.
building an entire movement where she could amass a huge amount of people.
That's a huge amount of people for a woman to amass under her in those times.
Okay, well, that I can see. I'm fine with that.
Even if
I'm
she
just
amassed,
saying that there's some to tap into.
but
is
even
my
if she
point.
amassed
I wasn't-
100 people,
Oh, jeez.
70. I'm saying 75 of them are cursory characters. You know, they're maybe
Well, yeah.
protesters
Like,
or you
The
know.
Bobs might be dead, but he still has cult people. They're just useless. They're just
so yeah,
mana production.
a lot of that stuff is just we're here on the streets representing. They don't do anything real. Their visibility, their maybe smoke screens.
I don't know. I mean,
They're a liability.
you need at least 3 of
Could
them to
be.
join the group as double agents. The Black Wolves group.
Maybe so. Okay.
I don't know. I think there's tons of wiggle room,
There is.
and
I just
like to wiggle.
I can see it as like a book 2 thing based on where we said we would end this story.
Well, I see her running away in the end of the story.
Exactly. She's going to throw Desmond under the bus and sneak off.
Right.
But
But that's what I'm saying is I think that whatever little network she builds, it doesn't have to be big, is what she falls back on. At the
yeah,
end
I
of
can
this.
see that, and
What
I
he
can
builds
see
out
her
of, yeah.
being the big threat through all of book 2 if
Well,
we choose to
especially
do a sequel.
If she gets the book.
But
or
then we
some.
also talked about her facing the Raven and the Wolf in the end, and possibly the Crow,
Right.
right? Wasn't it a Crow? Agent Crow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Which
that's the
is
thing.
a still
So
unintroduced character as well, but I don't think that's even coming into play in this one.
I think that Desmond, if there were a book 2, would become this big monster, not like rather.
Desmond is, yeah, I mean, he's going to have to be revealed as a puppet, basically.
And Jennifer would be the intelligent villain in that story, So, because her goal still isn't met, and I think that she's going to try and meet that goal at all costs.
Oh, I thought she would have ran off with a book when she sleeks into the darkness at the end.
Nope.
She tried to get the book at the end. That was our hero's one victory, was that Desmond went to jail supposedly,
Yeah.
and they managed to keep the book.
Right.
Oh, all right.
Jennifer, we said she almost had it, and then she ended up having to throw Desmond under the bus to get away.
Yeah, she had to sacrifice everything just to get out of there with her freedom.
Mm-hmm.
So
So you're ending with a "I'll get you"
So
gadget.
right. Well, as far as our heroes are concerned,
empty threats from Claw.
Right. As far as they're concerned, it's a victory because they think their villain went to jail and they have the book. So
Right, they
they're
got
calling
no
that a
idea.
win. And in the end, there's kind of a little reveal that you didn't win as much as you thought you did.
Yeah, it's the classic Sherlock Holmes stuff. Moriarty always gets away at the last minute.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And truly, we've released 2 villains at that point. At the very end, Jennifer got away.
who are no longer on the same team, which is
No longer on the same team, but still both an adversary.
So that's your consolation prize. Is the bad guy team is broken up.
right.
Kind of wonder if Blackwell will turn himself into a monster. Being the smart villain didn't
Well, that's
really
book
work
2
out.
stuff. We've still got
That
book
is,
1 to
yeah.
deal with.
We're not even.
So
this
let's
one.
take a break and come back regrouped on book 1.
Well, you have to do your reading, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So we're gonna
Do the
read.
reading
and then come back.
Come back.
All right. Jennifer hiked about town, stopping occasionally at utility poles and posts, the occasional bar and bookstore to post her help wanted signs. She even made it easy by putting the phone number on tearaway tabbies at the bottom. Not that she felt the phone number was that hard to remember, but being that the phone number was 555 and the average henchman didn't seem to count past 9, it seemed like a good idea. Jennifer must have put up 200 flyers when she came to a dark little pub set below a textile business down a back alley. Who would ever come here, she thought. Once inside, however, the blasé little hole was packed. There were women of all types here. The bartender was female, the bouncer, even the band that played were all female. Jennifer was completely taken off guard by the sight. Nowhere in this entire patriarchal town had she seen so many women in one place not under male control. Jennifer decided to sit and have a drink. She set the flyers down on the bar. The woman behind the bar, while wearing slacks and a white button-down, managed to maintain her feminine qualities. Her long, dirty blonde hair pulled back, revealing an aged but soft face. She wore makeup, but sparingly. She spoke softly, but loud and strong enough to be heard. What'll it be? Her voice was all Englishwoman. Jennifer smiled. Vodka tonic, she replied, trying to seem comfortable. She was not. Jennifer had never been in a place like this before, but she felt if she could get up the courage, this could be her kind of place. The bartender poured her a drink as a large woman, built more like Caleb than her, sat next to her. The woman wore her hair in a peculiar way. What hair she had was colored black with pink streaks. The sides and back were shaved, but the top was done up, forming a wedge in front like an axe. The woman was covered in tattoos, all but her face. She wore slacks and a tank top with suspenders. The tank top did little to cover her enormous breasts, but it did show off that though the woman was husky like Caleb, she seemed to be more muscle pound for pound than he was. The woman outstretched her hand to Jennifer, offering a handshake, and in a thick Cockney accent she introduced herself. Oi, I'm Roberta. My friends here call me Bobby. I see you be needing some help, and I think I could be of some service. Jennifer spent a second processing what she had just heard. Jennifer shook herself free of the confusion to reply, oh, yes, of course. She replied, my name is Jennifer. Her voice betrayed education and gave away her Eastern European origin. Please sit. Tell me more. Well, actually, let me tell you about the job first. Lord knows if you'll even want it. Oh, I want it. But go ahead, love. I'm listening. So, that's it. But I wanted to point out, because the only reason that's where I stopped was because I thought this could go a couple ways. And so I thought Jennifer could make friends with the pub and build allies, and maybe this could play back later, because we know where this might all go, and Jennifer could go off on her own or need backup or what have you. And so I thought it might not be a bad idea for her and Roberta to become fast friends, and maybe she makes friends with the girls in the bar. And this could be, she could call on them when she needs them. So
You're going to have a whole bar full of villain women?
not necessarily a villain.
Well, Jennifer's villain.
I think you're a little overly clearly defining it.
I don't think Jennifer has friends. She has useful people.
I like the bar of women. I like them being involved in the story. I don't like them helping Jennifer.
Or maybe they're just backing up Roberta, and Roberta's loyal to Jennifer. I don't know.
Maybe Roberta is loyal to Jennifer to an extent.
So.
At least for now. Maybe down the road she figures out that it's not all what she thought it would
I
be.
think we're defining Jennifer as evil when she is, yes, dark and goal-driven, you know. And maybe
Jennifer's a murderer.
Okay, yes, that's true, but there are plenty of murderers who meant well, you know. So, I don't know. I'm just not sure. I feel like Desmond or what have you is more clearly a villain than she is, you know.
Jennifer killed Robert.
She killed
to
one
steal
person.
A book that we know of.
Desmond is willing to kill.
It's unlikely
thousands.
that that's the only person she's ever killed.
Desmond's willing to commit genocide on those not fully
There's
human.
no argument. Desmond is more evil. I'm just saying.
So
I like Roberta's character.
did I describe her well, do you think?
Yeah.
I know that was a little choppy. We'll have to edit the hell out of it later. But
We'll smooth it out.
So yeah, if she decides to make them the allies, maybe we can extend that scene, you know, and I don't know, throw in some karaoke or something later. So, but okay, that's where I was kind of going with it. And then I don't know if you guys want to bring it around and have her introduced to the crew, or if that even matters.
No, I mean, unless you're going to get some out of that.
You mean bring
besides
Roberta in at this point to the crew?
Yeah, or just show her.
Yeah, she can
on
just show
mission
up
later.
somewhere down
Okay.
the road.
Yeah, that's how I would handle it.
Okay.
As far as I was just looking up the phone number thing, and to best of my knowledge, before 1947, we're in 1910, they had between less than 7 and 3 or more numbers in a telephone. But I can't get any more accurate than that. So.
Well, it was a joke playing on
Yes.
the Hollywood everything as a 555 something number.
But that might have actually been accurate for this time period.
So
They were showing in one state in the U.S. there was only 200 subscribers when they first went on. So.
yeah, I mean, I'm not the first one to make a "there's not that many phone numbers" joke, but I don't know. I thought it fit. So. Okay, so do we think that's a complete scene? Do you think we need to go any further with anything?
I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Like I say, I know it's going to have to be edited and what have you. That's almost nothing. We can build on it a little bit. But, okay.
Why my drippings will go?
Because you were listening to the Dark and Stormy Nights podcast on iTunes, Google Play Music, or Podbean.
Want to hit go?
What?
Okay, so we're back. I hope you enjoyed my little piece. So, what did you guys think of it? Now, I was a little concerned because I myself am not a lesbian. But
Are you sure?
But I essentially, well, I mean, not by the classic
Okay.
definitions.
Mm-hmm.
But, anyways, so I was concerned. I've only been to one lesbian bar before,
Mm-hmm.
and I wrote it because that's pretty much what it looked like to me.
Sweet.
So, and I don't know. What did I pull it off? No, I was hearing that maybe I should have given a clue that this was a lesbian bar or something like that. Like would you say a violet?
Well, I mean, that's something I heard. I don't know that anybody else would recognize that.
Right.
I mean, that's more than I knew. I've seen like cat stickers and stuff like that. That's the only
Cat
giveaway
stickers?
nowadays. But back then,
There was none of that at the lesbian bar I went to. Just lots of women.
I've just driven by. I've never
All
actually
you
been in.
legitimately have to do is have someone flirt with her for 5 seconds.
Yeah. I mean, the bouncer will usually keep you out unless you're with somebody, I guess. But okay.
I really couldn't comment on that.
But you're saying you didn't think it was very apparent that it was a lesbian bar?
I think you get it. I mean,
Do you?
anybody who's been to a lesbian bar
I haven't.
get
That's
it
what I'm
maybe?
saying.
Any
That's how I wouldn't
critique
know.
should it have been?
I thought it was fine. I mean, it doesn't matter that it's a lesbian bar ultimately.
Right. No,
it's not necessary
Well,
to
no.
the story.
What
so
I was going for though was that, like I said, I feel like that maybe that is the group of women that Jennifer builds her team out of. You know.
I mean, I'm not opposed to her grabbing a few people from this meeting place that she was impressed with.
You know, it felt like to me like Fight Club, the first bar that Fight Club takes place in, or whatever.
Okay.
And that's where he draws his first initial team of fighters from.
Well, he doesn't even know that he has a movement at that point. But yeah, I get.
Yeah,
I
it built
understand.
itself really, but you know. So in this case, Jennifer and Roberta are Tyler. And
My
the
mind
narrator.
wandered a bit. I'm sorry to say. How apparent is it from the outside what is in the inside?
Not at all. It's under a textile.
Oh, okay. Okay.
business.
Yeah. Because given the time period, that definitely would be somewhat on the down low.
Down a back alley under a textile business.
Okay.
So, yeah. I mean, it's a steampunk story. It doesn't have to be super realistic.
No,
but
no. I mean, curtains and a bouncer would be more than enough for the time period.
So, yeah. Maybe
Um,
give the bouncer a shotgun.
I think it was fine. As long as she ends up leaving with Roberta, you've accomplished what you needed to.
And my Cockney was atrocious. We'll
A little
definitely have
bit, a little
Your
bit.
what?
My
Oh.
Cockney was atrocious.
I don't even do.
I
the
couldn't understand what I
accents.
was saying at that point. I'm like, okay, when I wrote this, it was very, like, I knew where I was going. By the time I was done, I didn't. So.
There are plenty of times when I'm trying to post your stuff on the website, and I'm like, "What the hell does this say?" Because you have tried to like put the accent in there so heavily that I'm like, I got nothing.
Is mine more understandable or less or same?
A little bit better. But yeah, no, both of them. I'm like, you can't do that. Nobody's gonna know what that says.
Well, that's the
And
trick. Is you
I
want
have to
enough
fix
that
it.
you're in their head, but not so much
Yeah.
that they have to Google everything.
And
Yeah.
at the same time, like, none of my writing really reflects any kind of accent, so you guys will have to go back in and throw a little bit
I
more
feel like
into mine.
Roberta's Cockney is a bit thicker than Caleb's.
That's a
So.
contest, because
Yeah, can you imagine us writing them having a conversation with
'cause,
each other?
yeah, no, Caleb,
Please don't. Please don't.
Caleb sounds
As the
like
unofficial
somewhere
editor,
in the.
I'm going to go with no.
What was that movie? The
Snatch.
English mobster movie.
Snatch?
Yes.
I
yes.
love that movie.
The-
Snatch is like one of the
Oh
best
my
movies.
god. That's the level I'm hearing Caleb at.
All right.
It's like just understandable enough.
Okay, so you've got a piece of 10, right? Of chapter 10.
Yeah, we did like 3 seconds of plotting at the end of, that last plotting episode. What was
For
it?
you at home, we've not heard the end of this.
Because we spend entire episodes plotting your guys' chapter, and then you're like, all right, we got 5 minutes. Let's throw together Part of Tears.
I don't know. It seemed like plenty of notes, but then again, you saw what I did with the notes
Whatever.
you gave me, so.
Yeah, sometimes you shit the bed.
Okay,
I really
so
don't think it was that
basically,
bad, but, you know.
I have a very small piece of the beginning of this chapter, and we have to figure out what we're doing from here.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so Wilhelm winced as Zara slammed the door to the carriage and threw herself into the front seat with a huff, settling Dale on her lap. His wine buzz was wearing off quickly, which was unfortunate. He and Karen had been all giggles and gossip until his team busted in, reminding them that they'd forgotten to call off the minions. He side-eyed Karen, who shot him a little frown in return. Honey, I said I was sorry. Wilhelm and I planned it all out. We got the contract, staged the scene. I just forgot one little detail. After a couple of bottles of wine, I'm just glad it wasn't something serious, she chuckled, waving a dismissive hand. The carriage dipped with a hefty thunk as Hammond loaded up an oversized chest. He paused to poke at the cat carrier Karen brought along, eliciting an irritated hiss from its occupant. Hammond jerked back, and Karen clucked her tongue at him. I wouldn't do that. Nibbles is not so fond of carriage rides, sweetie. Meredith eyed the carrier with a raised brow. Nibbles? Karen smiled sweetly. My pet, he's as sweet as can be, adorably mischievous. You'll love him. Hammond squeezed himself into the carriage, squishing everyone else together as he pressed himself into the seat. The driver slammed the door shut and found his way to the front, starting up the carriage with a grinding rattle. Zara, Meredith, and Hammond closed their eyes, dropping back in their seats in exhaustion, and the awkward silence stretched as the carriage rumbled its way towards home. The hair raised on the back of her neck as Karen stepped onto the sidewalk in front of the quiet house. Magic wards buzzed around the perimeter so strongly she could see the glow of it in her peripheral. The closer she got, the thicker the air grew, sparking with the energy around her. It didn't take much to realize she wasn't to realize that getting into the house was going to be a problem. Zara Hammond and the elusive pig walked right up to the door before turning to see Karen hesitating a little further back with Wilhelm at her side. Meredith and Wilhelm exchanged a long look that said a million things without speaking a word. "Are you sure about this, Wilhelm?" Meredith asked finally. Wilhelm nodded. "She'll be a valuable ally. I've seen proof that she had no choice under contract, and I'm sure I can break it. The protections on the house will keep her hidden until I can." Meredith's sharp green eyes turned to Karen, then assessing, calculating. Karen found herself straightening, standing taller under the woman's scrutiny. She knew a fellow predator when she saw one. After a long moment, Meredith paused to deliver a single soft-spoken warning. "If you betray us or bring harm to anyone I care for, I will make you regret your very existence." Truth rang in her words, the promise as real as any spell and equally potent. Karen smiled, sensing a kinship in the lethal woman. "You have my word. I will not bring harm to your team as long as I can help it." Meredith gave a nod to Wilhelm before stepping in to place a kiss on his cheek. "I'm glad you're all right, love," she whispered, before joining Zara and Hammond at the door. Wilhelm turned to Karen as Meredith opened the front door. "I'll need a lock of hair and a drop of blood." By the time Karen and Wilhelm made it into the house, the team had already got in, but hadn't made it far. Wilhelm quickly noted the looks of confusion and irritation at the mess, which meant this was not the way they'd left the house. "What the hell happened here?" Zara asked as she stepped over a body sprawled on the floor. Meredith held up a slip of paper. "The house was attacked while we were out. Poppy left a note. She's okay. Someone named Philip helped her scare them off for now. I'll have her call for the details in the morning." Wilhelm frowned. It had been his idea to divert Desmond's team to the house, but he'd anticipated that they wouldn't be able to get in. He hadn't planned on Poppy being there to open the door for them. Or Philip. God, anything could have happened to them, and it would have been his fault. Karen seemed to pick up on the somber mood of the group, and she stepped up helpfully. "You guys go get some rest. I'll handle cleanup." Wilhelm looked at her in surprise. "Are you sure?" Karen waved a hand. "Of course. This one's still a little warm," she said, poking at the bundle stuck to the wall. "I'd be happy to take all this off your hands." She scooped up Nibble's carrier and then the ankle of one of the bodies. "Just point me to the basement and I'll get settled in." And that's where I've left it so far.
Delicious.
It's good.
Uh,
I think it dovetailed nicely with what we had, even if we change and revise things. I think it works well.
Yeah, I mean, it's the vague enough detail that we have plenty of room to play with it.
However, the one that was stuck to the wall was hopefully for interrogation, so someone might want to interject on that.
I was arguing that, maybe if you...
The thing is that Wilhelm has already heard Desmond, has Karen as an inside person, she
Right.
knows what's going on. It's not like they're going to get much out of a minion that they can't get out of Karen.
Well, they could get a
I'd still slap
location
it.
maybe, but then again, Nibbles has been there. Nibbles could probably lead them
That's
back
what
to
I'm
the
saying,
cathedral.
is they already know.
So yeah, what do
like
you
our villains have now been revealed.
what do you really need at this point? Yeah.
I don't know. I'd still slap them around to find out, though, just in case.
So
Although I suppose that's Hammond of me. That'd probably be the guy to, if anybody was to interject, like, hold on, before you eat him. What? No.
There's no reason that Karen can't try to get a few answers out of him before she finishes him off.
yeah, that's why I was asking. Can she suck brains out?
And how torturous do you want to make this? Like, did she web him up and
I
then
don't think
just
it needs to be
chew off
revealed.
his left foot and then bind it?
All of a sudden she has 3 extra minions or however many it was.
Right, but he's still alive and there's just pieces of him slowly disappearing.
No, she's going to take him to the basement. They're not going to know what happened to him.
I mean, nobody visits her in the basement.
No, why would they? It's her territory.
I don't know.
Okay.
I just think it's funny that, she's this attractive, upright citizen, and then she's got this disturbing, monster side to where I just thought it'd be fun to play with that.
They broke the futon.
What?
They break the futon. She takes him down to the basement. Futon gets broken. No.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Anyway. Okay, but for the second half of the chapter, because that really wasn't much, where do we want to go from here? I mean, we can always, have some of the team coming back with I caught this, what do I do with it? And they toss it down to her, like we were talking about.
See,
I'm thinking maybe it wakes up the next day and the place is all spotless. Karen settles into her role. maybe as the secretary, it's all cleaned up and maybe the team starts to mesh a little bit. I don't know. I don't think there's a whole lot that has to be done.
I feel that so much has been done, so much has been revealed, that even though I want to drag the story out and have more humor and, more to it, I kind of feel like we're getting close to the end. I mean, like, what do you do when everybody knows who's facing who?
Well, we know what's coming next, right?
Yeah, we have our doppelganger team.
And I don't think they have to all come at once. I think this could be a thing here or there, right?
Well, I had
it absolutely
suggested that if you split the party up with various jobs, you could do it all at once,
But doing it all
like
at
they
once
show up at
doesn't
one
really-
job and Hammond is there, but it's not really Hammond. It's like, Hammond, I told you I got this. It becomes a whole thing.
Someone
But
gets
while
replaced, but when they
Hammond
come
is-
back, there's two somebody or something. I don't know.
You want that in this chapter?
I don't know.
No. No, but maybe that's where the call comes in, is at the end of this chapter. That's what I'm saying, is I don't think you got much left.
That's cool. Putting
You
the
know.
call at the end of the chapter.
Yeah, so it's like, and that's the beginning of trying to split up the team, right? So, like I said, you send Doppelganger Hammond and, like, I don't know, Zara and...
Yeah, but it gets screwed up because, they think this job is perfect for Hammond, but instead Hammond goes to the job in the south or something, so you get the wrong doppelganger in the wrong location.
Right, and then they're trying to, like... Then
Well, that's a good question.
Doppelganger Hammond is trying to kill real Zara,
Yeah, because the doppelgangers are being made in advance, wouldn't they? Because they already got their personal effects.
Yeah, I feel like the
Right.
doppelgangers are now made.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah. We baked them, they're done.
I'm just saying, yeah. So if you commit one to one location and that person doesn't show up, then they're just gonna be like, well, what happened to your other job? Oh, I finished early.
So
Or
they're going to
something.
show up to a job and there's nobody there but a doppelganger, and they'll have no idea why they're
Mm.
even there?
They gotta have some kind of false front, so they should release like some fake goat or something weird, just something for them to conquer, some sort of throwaway adventure.
So you don't actually want me to portray any of that, just have Karen take the call and be like, oh, look, there's a job.
Yeah, like I said, everybody
The
gets
first
up the next
call.
morning. There's food cooked. The place is clean. She's doing her she's organized things. Whatever. So I think she is a good she was maybe part of the missing link that is going to bring this team together. As
Help keep them organized.
Yeah, she gets them.
What'd be cute is if she's got like one leg on the job board, one on the phone, one handling something else.
like her whole spider form is
right.
out
She's
because
got
trying to do all
she's
this
like throwing web at something.
That would be disturbing.
Like she's just got like 8 different things handled at once.
It'd be funny, like she's got eggs and bacon and coffee's brewed and everything like that, and somebody pulls out a coffee, and then she flicks a piece of web with a Post-it note, and it sticks to the coffee, and it's their job for the day.
Yeah.
So
No, I'm sure we can kind of make that cute. Okay,
No,
so have
that's-
Karen kind
that's
of pull the team
disturbing to
together.
me. I'm glad it's for you to write, because in my head, that's not Spider-Man cute. That's a whole other thing. Especially with the stabby, pointy legs. They're not octopus legs.
Two of the legs are actually like knitting something.
See,
Wow.
I thought it'd be funny.
Oh, that's cute.
she was-
making Meredith a little dress or
There
something.
you go.
See, I thought it'd be hilarious if she's like, not exactly a maid's outfit, but she's got some sort of house coat with an apron, and she had no luggage, but she's got a whole different set of clothing on for the next day, as she's tidying up and doing things.
Maybe. We'll think about it. We'll let you know.
Okay.
Okay, so basically Karen gets them organized and her and Wilhelm start going over the contract. Anything else we want to include?
Yeah, we can do that. Like I said, set them up for the first job that's going to be the first encounter with the doppelganger. Yeah, just I feel like there should be a subtle air of cohesiveness for once.
Okay, I dig that.
And
That
way we're going into this
The
big
other thing that we mentioned was maybe bringing Philip to the house to see that
Yeah.
to see that Wilhelm's okay.
Yeah, sure.
And Wilhelm now knows that Philip was also in danger, so maybe there's a little bit of a reunion there.
I'm not against it all. The whole chapter kind of ending on that note, maybe.
Well, don't forget, if it's asked, she did abduct other guys from the group, and I don't think they came out alive.
Okay.
Just
Girls got to eat, man.
I'm just saying, if Wilhelm asks, that's the truth. I don't know what she's going to tell them, but that's there's probably like 3 to 5 people missing.
It is what it is.
I'm trying to remember. There was like if she ate the were raccoon guy, or whatever.
I don't know if he was missing or not.
Girl, we've got to
I
talk
mean-
about your diet.
He did cheat on his wife, so
Is that what we're saying? Wait, was it with a doll?
a
What?
doll.
No,
It
he
was with
in
a raccoon.
Real
Cool.
raccoon, that's right. Yeah.
No, see, I wanted to keep him alive so he can get rabies.
Oh Lord, maybe he did have rabies, and she put him out of his misery. See, quit judging my Jorogumo.
That's true. She's doing a public service. So
It was only a matter of time before he infected somebody else.
maybe one of them was a politician,
Ooh,
a member of the Tories.
Is rabies
I
sexually
dig.
transmitted?
Yeah. Were the
No,
Tories
make it a
around yet?
bitter.
No, but I'm just saying, is like if you had rabies.
Were the Tories
If
around
you
yet?
ha- I don't think it's sexually transmitted, but like, except for if you're biting during sex.
Rabies from sex, really?
I don't know.
Biting.
I've never had rabies. Just asking.
Okay.
That's what we do. As writers, we ask the deep questions.
I'm judging you.
I'm sorry. Little word pun there. Anyway. Okay, so we were talking about possibly Philip and Wilhelm have a tender reunion moment, and the whole team sees
Yeah,
it. and
super
he's-
cute.
Yeah, and then he's kind of, whoops.
Yeah.
But I think that
You
the
all
team
know
really
now.
right, and the team is probably going to be like, who cares? We already knew that.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Well, I mean, has it been spelled out to them? I mean,
we're saying this reunion with Philip would do
oh,
it.
it'd be so over the top, like they're gonna like kiss or something, and it's
Or
no
maybe Philip kisses him and whatever.
Okay.
Like I don't think Wilhelm would make the first move there.
I think it'd be kind of funny if Hammond.
No, I agree. I
if
think
Hammond
it's
was
Philip.
shocked, and everyone else is like, "Why are you shocked? Everyone saw this."
I think that
didn't see
Hammond has
anything.
his head up his ass enough to be the one who doesn't know.
Yeah, like he's in the middle eating a ham sandwich.
I
as you
also
always
don't
have
think
them.
that he would care. And we had discussed the possibility that Philip compliments like one of the devices he's carrying or something, and like then he's instantly, I like you,
Yeah, like the dragon-headed flamethrower. Maybe that's
like he's got it out polishing it.
He's like, yeah,
Philip's like,
nice
"That's
package.
awesome. Yeah.
The gun. Like,
I don't know if he would get that reference in that time period, but
Anyway. So yeah, I really think that like Hammond's probably the easiest person to win over.
oh yeah, you compliment one of his inventions, and he's
no,
like,
I don't think he.
I don't
think he
think
cares.
that he would give a damn in the first
I think
place.
that he would be shocked, and everyone just look at him like, "How did you not see this?"
Yeah.
Well, I think that Wilhelm would be the one shocked that everybody already knew,
Right. What do you mean you knew?
I just think that they wouldn't care. It's not a matter of if they know. He's
Right.
their family. They don't care.
Yeah, I don't think I don't know. I feel like there's nothing Meredith doesn't already know.
Yeah, Meredith would know.
So, and I feel like Zara would be really supportive,
I think that Zara wouldn't flinch at it.
and Wilhelm doesn't like these feeling things you mortals talk about. So, so let's not discuss feelings in front of.
I wasn't going to
Hammond.
make it a big thing. I was going to make it a very short scene where just maybe one more like bonding thing where his team accepts him and there's no longer that thing between them.
Well, now that I think about it, actually, Wilhelm should have to kiss Philip because Philip still is not entirely sure of where Wilhelm was leading him.
I feel like
It wasn't
Philip
overt enough.
I think
might
it could
be
be
a little
made
more
apparent.
in his feelings, and I
Philip
feel
is a little bit more confident in himself.
Yes.
that's true.
That's
We-
what I'm
we
saying.
said
It's
it,
more of a
both about the
character arc for
both
Wilhelm.
about the awareness and his sexuality. So then Wilhelm is about either of those things.
Right, and I
So
think it'd be brave of him to
that's
actually
why I
step
think
up.
that Philip would be the one to take initiative.
Yeah, but that date went so sideways and really wasn't very clear to Philip.
Right, but it could be made up for in this reunion.
However, yeah, Karen tried to butt into that date, so she knows who this person is.
Oh,
Well,
yeah, she
I mean,
knows
if someone
him.
talks to Philip
No, so
beforehand,
I
I
feel like
think
there's
now if
a,
anybody's-
oh, honey, you guys worked it out.
Why do you keep making Karen from Jersey?
Because I did it once, and it's that way forever now.
Yeah, I think that if anybody is going to be vocally supportive, it's going to be Karen instantly.
Right. So that's who she is now, unless you
Right,
have
right.
a better voice.
I'm just saying, unless someone speaks to Philip before
No, you need
he
to
gets
do the
Wilhelm,
high-pitched Will and Grace Karen voice. That I'll
I
accept.
can't do that voice.
I don't
In
think
case
that
you haven't
he'd be
noticed,
in
I
the
have
know.
bass in my voice.
I'm not saying it'd be out of character for Philip to step up. It's totally in character. I'm just saying is that unless someone speaks to him before he gets to Wilhelm, I don't know that he
I think they're going to have a tender moment that will set up the kiss.
Well,
Okay, so some
luckily
sort of
for
like
the story,
exchange through the eyes or something.
luckily for the story, Tyr is in
hug.
charge of this one.
Okay.
So
Maybe Wilhelm grips him
I'm-
extra tight and buries his face in his neck, and that
To
gives
some
Philip,
sort of connection. Yeah, something.
that gives Philip everything he needs to.
That-
What?
nothing.
What?
All right, let's take a break and we'll come back and plan after that.
Okay.
Groovy.
Hey y'all, Satan here. Are you enjoying this episode of the Dark and Stormy Nights podcast like I am? It's just titillating, isn't it? Why don't you come on and listen in with me? Enjoy.
Biscuits. All right, so
Why?
because I felt like it.
Why word English cookies?
Well, see, I didn't even think of it that way. I'm thinking of these flaky, buttery things we have in America, but yeah. English cookies,
Indeed.
just as good. Anyways,
I'm a bit confused.
we know.
Typically we take turns, but we've been doing these part chapters. So I'm curious. We've given notes to Tyr, and she's going to come back. So am I not
Because-
writing for next week?
Yeah, well, you could. Here it is. Her chapter wasn't finished.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm not complaining.
This is
I'm
the
asking,
finish of her
what are
chapter.
we doing?
I have the second half of my chapter.
Mm-hmm.
So based on what we finished plotting today
Correct.
Right.
for the next chapter, mind you, you'll be getting way more plotting time than I did.
A whole 20 minutes.
So you can either have the first half of your chapter written for next week, or we just read the second half of mine and do more plotting.
You were
So
heavy breathing into the microphone.
it is up to you.
You were the one porn
Well,
breathing.
I will,
Porn breathing, indeed.
You were porn breathing into the microphone.
if the notes are sufficient and I have the time, I'll definitely try and bring a whole chapter. But it's nice to have the breathing room, so we'll see. I guess.
Is it necessary to have the breathing room, Ron Jeremy?
Oh my God!
Sorry.
I have to breathe through my nose because my mouth's full of cookies. All right, Loki.
All right.
Okay.
Jesus.
I
Right.
apologize for them, people.
Uh,
Anyway,
It had to be said. I'm sorry.
chapter 11. So basically, we're ending this chapter, chapter 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're at chapter 10, right?
Oh, okay.
Yes. Anybody? Am I the only one keeping track of this? Yes, chapter 10. Okay. So we end that with the phone call we said,
Yeah.
where
You are the
Karen's like, okay, every single one of you has a job for some reason.
so everybody knows, Tyr is the brains of this operation. I'm just funny, ish.
I'm here.
That's barely true.
I mean, this whole thing is your idea, so.
Ish. Okay. So the following chapter, yours leads into the phone call. It ends the phone call.
So where do we go from here? Are we going right into the jobs?
Yeah, I say, well, look, here's the great thing, right? We don't even have to, it's meanwhile, doodle-doodle-doo, and they are at a job, right? I mean, we don't have to have the music or anything. I don't know how you write that anyways. But
Yeah, I just see them doing the 3 separate jobs, probably chapter breaks back and forth kind of thing.
I say we hold off on revealing Robert.
Okay.
At least for a chapter.
What do you mean? Oh, Roberta.
Doppelganger Robert.
Oh,
Don't even bring
maybe
that
make
up.
him
that
the
could be
end
both.
boss.
And
Maybe he's the end boss, right?
Unless he's like, he would be, he was,
Oh yeah, right. He's still evil.
he
that's right.
was Zara's mentor, and he was like the center point
That's
of
gonna
all
fuck
these
them up.
people.
No, I think he needs
So
to
I
be
think
revealed, but
that-
only at the very end of the chapter. Like his back's turned, he turns around.
You
Cut.
really want to reveal him?
And then
reveal him?
blue steel.
Blah blah blah. I've lost my capability to speak clearly.
We're all too excited.
I feel like maybe Robert should be held off for a chapter.
I couldn't say
Are we
until
not
I
going
write
to
it.
give away the whole team?
Maybe trickle in 2 here.
All right. Maybe.
In fact,
Hmm.
why don't we bring in Hammond and Zara? Ooh, no, we could do 3. Do Hammond, Zara, and Wilhelm, and save Meredith and Robert for the next chapter.
Well, what if? Okay,
Or
wait,
we're
wait,
only
wait.
on chapter 11. There's plenty of book to go. What if we do 1 chapter for each meetup?
I mean, we could.
We could. But are we doing one-on-one then?
It doesn't have to be.
What do you mean?
But when Zara meets Anti-Hammond, she's not going to know the difference.
No, he's a dick either way.
Right. When Hammond meets Anti-Zara, he's not going to know the difference.
Because he's oblivious.
And she's snotty with him either way.
Yeah, okay.
Wilhelm might see a difference in one of them. But
I think he
when
would
Robert
smell
shows up,
different.
all of a
That's
sudden,
true.
the
That's
whole
true.
villain team is revealed.
Well, would he smell it? I mean, they got to have some sort of genetic relation.
I feel like
they're made
Wilhelm
from the
would
same
know
items.
something's not right.
Right.
But the bottom line is this can pass to a certain extent where they don't know what's going on. But as soon as you bring in Robert, everybody knows something's going on.
I was thinking about these encounters.
So I say hold off on revealing anything.
I was thinking about these encounters as if there was some sort of finality, right? But what if there isn't? What if it is?
Infiltration.
Well, maybe like an encounter where the doppelganger comes in, right? Shows up, causes a bunch of problems, maybe whoops their ass, and then leaves. It's not done. They didn't kill him, but it's causing turmoil.
The whole team?
Huh?
The
No. Like, so Zara's on the job.
Okay.
Hammond shows up and beats her ass or something like that, like. And she's like, wait, what the fuck was that?
Hammond comes in and hurts her?
Yeah, but it's doppelganger Hammond, not real Hammond. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then she's going home and it's like, what the fuck was that about? And like attacks him.
You could, but that reveals your doppelganger team to them.
Well, I do feel there's going to be a few mismatches.
Well,
Like they're going to try and
I
replace
feel like
them,
you
but
can start trickling in these doppelgangers and have them plant seeds that will start to tear your newly united team up.
That's
Yeah,
what I was
we want
thinking
some big
about.
range.
And don't
How do
let
we
them-
do that? How do we like?
They don't have to reveal themselves in a way like physically attacking, but they could meet up and then plant a new, issue between Zara and Hammond, or a new issue between Wilhelm
All right.
and Zara.
So maybe we say next week is one-on-one, right?
It could be.
Who?
Well, it's Odin's chapter, right?
right. I have to.
Who do
give
you
some
wanna do?
thought. Well, all right. There's
Easiest is
hold on.
Zara
How many
and
team
Hammond.
members we have? We have
That's the biggest rift.
really 4 core
It's
team
the
members,
most
right?
obvious. They're the
Hammond,
personalities that butt heads.
Zara.
But which one? Good Zara or Dark Zara?
I'm trying to think of the teams. Hold on.
You have Zara, Hammond, Wilhelm,
Right.
Meredith, and Robert. Those are the 5
Okay,
But
but
Meredith
Robert's
and
not
Robert
here.
are off limits.
All right. So really, we only need 2 teams because
Meredith's going to be a big one.
we were talking about 3 different directions, but there's not enough people for that. So there should be 2 teams, I think. So
that one's gonna feel like a huge betrayal.
Wilhelm's an asset, but he's not a muscle
we have to
guy.
come up with something
So,
good for that.
But he's also a werewolf. So.
Maybe
Wilhelm's going to be
Hammond's got
difficult. He
firepower.
does, regardless of how much he rejects his animal side, it's still there.
And
Yeah.
Zara and Meredith are both kind of stealthy fighters, kind of agile fighter types.
But
So-
Meredith is on a whole other level.
Right. So I'm thinking, maybe we do boy, girl kind of team here because it seems like the best use of assets.
I think that we're going to have.
So-
I don't know what to do with
So what
Wilhelm.
team to
He's going
start?
to know. But
Well,
Why?
I honestly think
maybe
here's
have
what I think.
good Meredith come in touch with bad Wilhelm.
Yeah.
Well, especially if he goes into wolf mode, that might be scary.
Right. Oh, and that's a formidable opponent for her.
Yeah.
Okay, I dig that.
But I think the thing that would really fuck them up in the end is Robert. Like,
Oh, yes, that's got to be put off, at least for a couple of chapters, I think. That is going to be the thing that says, oh, that's what's going on,
right,
Because they know that Robert's dead. They know that he's in their house haunting them.
right.
So for Robert to show up, they're going to be like,
Yeah.
it's going to reveal basically all the other doppelgangers.
So I feel like this next chapter that Odin does will have to be one team up. Doesn't matter which it is, but I'm
yeah.
thinking it's probably Zara versus Hammond, or
Either good Zara versus bad Hammond or good Hammond versus bad Zara.
doesn't matter.
I think that's good Hammond versus bad Zara sounds more interesting. But the question becomes is doppelgangers typically kill you to replace you. So how do we deal with that? The fact that
because what they're doing
Wilhelm
right,
regenerates.
what they're initially doing is weakening the team. They're trying to cause a split up.
Right. They're not going to tie you up or knock you unconscious. They're going
Our
to kill you.
team is too hard to defeat, and I feel like this would have been pointed out to them instantly by Jennifer, Caleb, and Desmond. The team is too hard to defeat as a whole. They have failed and failed and failed. So I think that the first
Subterfuge, though, is different.
step one of this evil doppelganger team is going to be split the team. That is the way they're going to get taken
I
on.
do feel like a dance number should go in here somewhere. I don't know how. But
A dance number.
doppelganger team versus non-doppelganger team. It's
Oh,
of
it's going to
four?
be have to be more of a dance off,
Yeah,
like
like-
White Chicks.
like da-doom-doom-dee-doo-doo. Da-doom-doom-dee-doo-doo. I'm seeing it. I don't know what to tell you here. It's in my head.
Yeah,
and
I
it's
cannot
glorious.
convey my exasperation or my head shaking.
But here's the
through
great thing,
radio.
right? So we've got Dale and Karen though on
Mhm.
the good guy side, and Robert on the bad guy side. You know,
Oh, yeah, there's Dale. If he's in human form.
Dale.
do we have a doppelganger Dale?
No, we
why
can't.
not?
No, because they were trying to steal Dale back. He's not part of their team as far as. Plus,
Yeah, but a doppelganger
plus,
Dale.
What exactly do you think Caleb stole of Dale's?
A
personal
hairbrush.
item?
Maybe they brushed him or
His
something.
blankie.
Yeah, that's not bad.
You want to recreate the pig they're trying to steal.
No,
Well-
but it might come out as this naked human guy.
That's messed up.
So they don't know who the hell this guy is.
Who's tripod?
No, I think we already said that we're not recreating Dale.
Okay. Nonetheless, I'm seeing Thriller.
And they're not recreating Karen
Plus,
Right.
it'd be a dead
because they don't
giveaway.
even know she's there.
Right, that's what I'm saying though. There's
I mean, he's eloquent. He's speaking to them. He's wearing clothing.
Dale,
Yeah. It would be a dead giveaway.
that's
I
funny.
do declare. Who are these sots?
That would be funny.
Yeah. The question is, how do you subdue somebody in keeping in character of a doppelganger? You know, like make it make sense. Like they got distracted, they weren't able to finish the job, whatever, without absolutely killing them because
We
they
just
totally
told you
would.
killing them is not their objective.
No. They want to piss them off and turn them
They
on each
are
other.
trying to cause dissension in the team. They are there to plant the seeds.
Doppelganger Hammond is pretending to be real Hammond.
No, I
Right.
get that.
Doppelganger Meredith is pretending to be real Meredith.
But generally, you do that by killing the Hammond and becoming Hammond. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying is like, how would they go about? I mean, why wouldn't they just kill him?
Because the pig is still in the house, and the best way to do that is have the team break up.
Okay, so
now
it's
there's
more
no longer a team defending that pig.
right.
They're trying to weaken them all around.
No, I get that.
If Hammond no longer has a team, takes Dale off to a job, it would be nothing to kill off one person and steal his pig.
Right. No, I don't want this to happen. I'm just asking, like, why wouldn't a doppelganger just kill him? So how do you write it so that he's subdued?
Don't paint yourself into that corner.
yeah, you overthink these things.
I'm just saying it's in their nature.
You're the writer. You get to create
know,
the
but
way
it's-
that this
Yeah,
works.
that's right. They work by your rules, not the other way around.
I mean, there is a mythology.
Okay, how about this?
And if they
Do we need to create a chapter where the doppelgangers have been created and they're getting their orders from Jennifer, Desmond, and Caleb? Maybe instead of making this the first confrontation, we show, the doppelgangers in front of them and they're telling them what needs to happen.
I don't think it's necessary. I think that is back information.
yeah, I
That is
don't think
something
it's
that you
necessary,
can-
but I do
Okay, but
gotta
we're
wonder
having
if
this
it is
argument.
happening.
We're having this argument because Odin does this
I like to know the reasoning. That's all.
It's not their
because
orders.
you said so. You are the writer.
I mean, what, if the doppelganger has a moral objection to killing people?
It's not about that. That is not their first objective. Their first objective is to cause an issue within this team, to single them out, and then eventually to kill them.
Not that I think they could kill them. They're catching them off guard by impersonating a teammate.
Okay, so at no point are they running into each other, except maybe in some mix-up back at the house.
Not yet.
Okay, so that's how you want to avoid it. So we're gonna mix the team members up. All
Right. So
Singling them out.
good Zara encounters bad Hammond in
Well,
the field.
we originally said that would be kind of a funny thing, and like maybe some get switching the jobs, but you're saying they're doing this on purpose. All right. That makes more sense.
I mean, I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so chapter 11 is going to be good Hammond, bad Zara.
Is that what you're going for?
Was that the one you
What was
chose?
the point in that?
Yeah, I feel like Hammond is someone. I don't care if it's Zara or Meredith or whoever, but yeah.
I wouldn't do Meredith yet.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I would go Zara. Which Hammond? Good Hammond or bad Hammond?
Either way, it's entertaining.
Not much difference.
I
Actually.
think good Hammond because his shock would be more entertaining.
that she.
Like him
Be
not
willing
noticing her for a while and then asking her questions and like looking at her confused. That could be a little
Well,
more
I mean, they
amusing.
butted heads through the whole story, so
remember-
it's really not going to be super obvious.
She's going to do what she can to drive a wedge between him and the team.
So she's going to be acting like an asshole with him because she's trying to drive a wedge between Zara and Hammond.
I mean,
but then
Hammond's an obvious
also-
asshole, so that's
also-
easier.
And
But
the rest of the team, I think.
It would be easy for her. Yes, the rest of the team. It would be easy for her to say, nobody else in the team respects you either.
Right. Right.
Your inventions don't even work half the time. You're a slob. You don't pick up after yourself. Karen's freaking tired of doing your shit for you already. Wilhelm's tired of you making a mess all over. You just released a gremlin in the house like a week ago, and it fucked everything up, although she wouldn't know that.
I'm not even sure Robert liked you that much.
Right. But I mean, yeah, there's a million different things that you could say that would cause an issue between Hammond and the rest of the team. And he's so self-absorbed. I think he's not bad, but he's so, self-absorbed that he wouldn't even, probably think twice about it.
well, it might not be. I don't know. I was just thinking that we're having this group, and we originally had when we were writing and we had the prompts in front of us was supposed to have a female lead. I don't know that we've really demonstrated her as a standout character above all the rest. Zara, I believe, was supposed to be the lead.
I feel like Meredith has kind of taken over the mentor role.
And honestly, I
they're
don't
a
think
team.
the idea behind the
Well,
prompting
if that's true,
is to get you started, right? We got started.
right.
It
But
developed into what it developed into. I don't think we have to imprison ourselves in the walls of the random generator we created.
Right.
okay.
So,
I mean, for all intents and purposes, both Meredith and Zara are the leaders of this team at this point.
right.
Should we bring
there's no
Robert
doubt
back in the end, he would probably take over as kind of the mastermind of the team.
I'm not sure he even would. I don't think that's who he is.
Truth be told,
necessarily.
he's never been really a team person. He was
Yeah, no,
a
he's a
rogue
lone
on
wolf.
his own.
Right.
So that I don't even know that he would be a part of the team.
No team existed until his death. That It was
Correct.
just he was teaching Zara to do what he did.
Right. She was his.
Meredith did something else altogether. She is
Apprentice
an
or whatever.
espionage artist and
Right.
stuff.
Right.
Well, on
The other
lo-
people were
on the log
resources.
curve of a character arc, Zara is the obvious main character, but I don't know that we've demonstrated that yet. But all right, I'm
I
just
feel
bearing
like
this in
I've
mind.
done a
'cause-
lot more from Zara's point of view than anybody else has. But I mean, ultimately, they're
That's
the
where the chapter fell.
Ghostbusters. It's
Right.
kind of everybody.
Do Ray Egon.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like if someone's gonna rescue somebody, you know what I mean? That's how I'm looking at it. Like,
Rescue.
yeah,
I
when
thought the same thing.
at the end of all of this, like who's gonna figure out what's really going on?
It's
and
going to be Meredith and Robert. Robert's going to be the thing that makes everybody go, oh, Like, it's going to be a huge shock to this team.
Let's dance, bitch.
Not probably in that way.
Yeah.
But, that's going to be what I don't think they're going to figure it out on their own. I think it's going to be either Meredith figures it out because she's very smart, or it's going to be the Robert reveal.
Yeah, the Robert doppelganger's the dead giveaway.
Right.
It's like if you weren't sure what was going on before, you are now.
Right. So every one of them going, this person's acting weird, and this person's acting weird, and this
Right.
person, and there's completely different when you they don't even seem to understand that there's a fight going on between the two of you.
Right.
So I think that Meredith would start to put the pieces together, even through her frustrations, and then as soon as Robert comes into the picture, that's when everybody knows something is not right.
Right. So yeah, we just need a couple of these, and I think that we have the one fight, right? Whatever it is, Hammond.
Plus,
and
we have
Zara.
Wilhelm
Uh,
to tell that something's not right. His senses would.
right,
would
that's
give
what
it
we were
away.
saying before, is that he might
Perhaps.
smell it.
These people are made with their items, so I mean,
You think they would smell the same?
They might. Well, not completely, but close, because they're made of the same stuff to some degree. I mean, like some sort of
but
magical DNA.
there's a dark magic involved.
Yeah, there's
that he
something
might
off about it, but it would
smell.
smell Meredith-like.
So, yeah, no, definitely it is partially whoever they're supposed to be, but then there's something else. You know, there's this dark energy.
Some way
in
that
them.
dark energy.
That's what I'm
smells.
saying. It's like
Yeah.
before
maybe
the
we
Robert
give it
reveal,
a certain scent.
Yeah, like copper.
there might be one character
Copper
who's
or
like,
I don't know.
sulfur.
Yeah, sulfur.
So maybe
yeah,
he knows how Karen smells.
brimstone, kind of
And
farty.
he's brimstone. So he's used to smelling Karen like that, and then he figures out that this new Meredith smells kind of like Karen and Meredith,
Yeah.
and this new Zara smells kind of like Karen and Zara.
Yeah.
You know. So I mean,
Yeah, saying if it was like brimstone, which is kind
fire.
of farty.
Maybe they smell like ashy or fiery.
well, that depends. Is our doppelgangers from hell, or are they some other kind of spirit?
Well, no, I just think it's the
'Cause
dark
Karen's
magic that's
technically
used,
not from hell.
maybe. But like he would know that like Meredith never farts, so it can't be.
Really?
that. So a real lady does not fart. She holds it
Really?
until she explodes. So
Oh Lord.
Wow, I just saw that in cartoon form.
they start floating away before it
Yeah,
even.
just like the whole skin like inflated off the body.
Anyway, do you feel like you have enough to go on here for your good Hammond versus bad Zara? What are they going to be fighting and all that? And how you're
Well,
gonna plant those
I
seeds?
feel like there should be some sort of element of dungeon crawl and some silly monster of some kind of battle and lead up.
some
and then
weapon of Hammond's that completely malfunctions and gives her another reason to rip him a new one.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, we always had Zara coming home complaining.
Nipple armor?
Nipple armor?
No,
I,
it was just a thought. I'm just riffing here.
it's not Batman 4 or whatever it was. I mean, is George Clooney going to be playing Hammond? I mean, to me, it's more of a Danny DeVito role.
He
but
wishes George Clooney was playing him. Just saying.
Danny DeVito with a beard.
No, Danny DeVito couldn't live up to Hammond.
No, I mean,
Yeah, no. I don't see it. Anyways, while we fantasize about who will play our characters eventually,
right.
do you think you got it? I don't know. Like, I'm not sure that it's that involved, really. I mean,
it's pretty open ended, so I'll fill in the pieces.
yeah. All right. Do we think we have this?
I mean, I'm good with it. Do you need us to figure out your who they're going to be fighting? Your
Well, you guys
what
wanna
kind of mission
spitball?
they're called on?
Because I was just gonna I don't know, look up some crazy creatures, see what looks silliest. But what do you guys have in mind?
I didn't really have anything in mind.
Well, you make it really confusing and have it something that causes possessions. Like
No,
some
that's too muddied.
Ooh,
kinda, like.
because it couldn't touch her.
Oh, I wasn't even thinking about that, but like she attacks him and, oh, I'm sorry, I was possessed. Total lie, but
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. I don't know. It could be, Hammond's arch nemesis?
Oh no.
A brownie? Was it a brownie?
Yeah, it was a brownie.
A brownie.
You
Well,
give
no. It was the king of the brownies.
You give it dreadlocks and it could be a pot brownie.
Oh, Lord.
No. I'm thinking of Face Off.
Was that bad?
So, like, he faces some kind of monster.
So wait a minute. The brownie and Hammond cut their faces off
No,
and
no,
swap
no,
them.
No. I'm thinking like some kind of stupid,
Wasn't
crazy
that like
creature, like
John Travolta?
Yeah.
like the D&D gelatinous cube, something ridiculous, something they would encounter in
A gelatinous
some
cube.
sort of tunnel or something, and then at the end of it,
I'm sorry,
after
what
they
was
get
that?
past all the bunch of monsters,
He wants a gelatinous cube. He's thinking.
no, it's just a thought.
They're
It's like a
fighting
giant
Jell-O
Jell-O mode.
shot.
Yeah.
Acidic Jello mode, but never mind. Point is, after they defeat the monster or something, then there's an army of brownies behind this one guy with a little crown of brambles on his head.
I'm sorry, what was the cube again? I
It's
missed
called a
something.
gelatinous cube. It's a D&D thing. It's this.
Although I
clear,
see where you're
viscous-
going,
I was
right?
my
Like,
mind went
maybe
to like
it was a gelatinous
the,
cube,
the Doctor
and then all the.
Who skin thing on the square.
What?
I don't know what that is. I don't watch
Yeah,
Doctor Who.
Moisturize me. No, you guys know
I know
Doctor
Doctor Who.
Who.
Yeah, I can't.
I mean,
Okay.
I kind of want a TARDIS mini bar,
she's just
but
square. She's like a sheet of skin on a square with a face.
that's
Yeah, this
weird.
is more
It's
translucent.
creepy.
Like in bad lighting, you think it's open air,
Okay, but
and then you're walking into stomach
Oh.
acid.
They are like a
Yeah.
jelly or a jello, right?
Okay.
I'm not saying I'm putting this in.
But
It was
what
just
if
a thought.
it was that, right? But it's like now captive by the brownies, right? And it's asking for help, but the brownies are screaming shots, 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 and they're doing jello shots of it. What do you think?
Didn't you just say it would digest you?
Well,
Wouldn't
yeah,
it?
you like walk into it, and then you're
But
kind of
brownies are immune.
drowning in it, and yeah,
Brownies are immune, huh?
So I don't know.
I don't
It's
know.
a thought.
But then they have battle a whole
I
bunch
mean,
of
the
brownies
Fae
after the
do
fact.
love their alcohol, from what I've read.
That's true.
Fae
That's true.
wine
They
and
could have gotten
stuff.
it really drunk first, and now it's a jello shot.
I don't know. I'll figure it out.
So, all right. I guess come back next week, where we will see the exciting conclusion of this. Don't forget to check us out on Twitter at the Dark Stormy K1.
Or at our website at thedarkandstormynights.home.blog. Feel free to leave me some comments.
Or here at our podcast at the darkandstormynights.podbean.com.
Also leave comments there.
And then there's also the Dark and Stormy Nights Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
You can go see us there. And is there any other way?
No, they can find us on Google Play Music and subscribe there as well, or like us on iTunes.
And don't forget to rate us on iTunes. Thanks for listening.